I don't know. I'd like to get that little confirmation from you, but I think we are on. So, good
We
morning,
are.
everyone. Good morning, and welcome to Viva Cafe con Leche. It is Tuesday morning. We got a little late start, but no big deal. We will make up for it. So, good morning. I am Dr. Lori Monaco with Align Yourself Inc. I am a life coach specializing in transformation and mindfulness practice. I am a speaker. I am a holistic practitioner, a chiropractor, and I am also known as the weight loss doc now. And the badass Buddha. That's the one I prefer. But welcome, welcome. And I'm coming to you from a dreary southern Connecticut, which is great because we need the rain. So good morning, everybody.
Good morning. Good morning. Buenos días. Namaste, mi gente. How's everybody this beautiful Tuesday morning? Because it's dreary over here as well.
Is it?
Yes, it is.
You going to introduce yourself?
Yes, I am. I am. Good morning, mi gente. Buenos días. It's beautiful to be up, to be awake, because, you don't necessarily have to be awake when you're up. I am La Margarita, coming to you from Sunshine State, Florida. I'm by way of Tampa, right? I'm here in Tampa today. I'm kind of slow, mi gente. Haven't had coffee yet, but here we go. I am a spiritual and creative healing life coach. I am just traveling down many roads and of many things, right? Writing, painting, which I did one and posted it last night. I don't know if you've seen it, Lori.
I didn't. It's been a very crazy couple of days.
It talks about when we accept our imperfections, then that's when we really set ourselves free, huh?
She's selling herself short today because she didn't have her coffee and she is tired.
Yeah.
She's an artist. She's a writer. She's a wedding officiant, right?
Yes.
We have to say it all.
I'm a wedding officiant. Yes. So, and much more to come, and I can't wait to start sharing that as we develop. And I am your gladiator guru. Buenos dias, namaste, mi gente. Let's have a great show today.
Yes, and good morning to Michelle. Michelle jumped on already, and she said, "Good morning, beauties." So, good morning, Michelle. We're glad you're here.
Good morning, Michelle. +1.
How are you feeling? You have just, boy, like we had to not air on Tuesday because she was just so awful. Thursday, what a trooper. And you were really active too. Like you definitely were participating, which was fabulous. But how'd you do over the weekend?
It's healing. In Spanish we have a song by Frankie Ruiz. This is La cura más mala que la enfermedad, which says the cure is always much worse than the sickness. So, I'm on antibiotics and I'm on this. And so it drains you. So when it drains you, it adds a whole other boom to the list, So everything seems to be getting better, except finally my glands have started to come down from the swelling.
Good.
But it's the cough. It's just a persistent little fucker. It's just like and it's just at night.
Yes, it's so annoying when you need the sleep and the rest to heal yourself, and it's not the minute you lay down. Yes, I know, and it takes so long to get rid of the cough.
And I have like a specific pill 3 times a day for the cough that I just found that yesterday I was supposed to be taking 3 times a day. Because I'm so not medicinal. I'm just like pop, that's it. But no, so I took it 3 times yesterday, and the cough was there. It was like a good hour of hacking away around 2:15 in the morning till 3 something. And I guess I finally fell asleep. But yeah, that's what you got to do, just write it, curse, be like, oh my God, all the toilet paper, but always knowing that this too shall pass, and I'm gonna end up going to sleep. So I guess that's the positive side. And that's why I chose my cup today. It says think positive and
I
great
like
things will
it.
happen.
Have you used that cup before? I don't remember seeing
Yes,
that cup.
yeah, I have.
Oh.
It's just huge, but I figured today I'm gonna need all that coffee. So
And my
yeah.
cup is a cup of courage.
I just love the design of that cup.
I know, I do too. You know what it looks like? It looks like henna. You know when you get
Yes.
henna?
It's really nice.
So how is everybody else in the household? That nobody else got sick?
Yeah, yep, let me see. No, nobody, no. Mom started coughing a little, but I called yesterday, so today I'm getting, but I get her that Zarbee's. It's very expensive. It's no alcohol, no sugars. It's like honey, and it's for cough and mucus. Some of it comes with melatonin. That's the one I get. And so I usually give her one of those a day. Whenever I hear her coughing, she's fine. But today she should be, I'm getting some specific cough medicine because we don't want her to get like me. She won't know what to do.
Right. Yeah.
But no, Stephanie's been having it. So we're all just getting over it. So a couple shout outs. Nancy Harding, good morning.
Morning,
Michelle
Nancy.
Martinez, good morning, Michelle. I think Michelle is a chef. Say yes if you are, Michelle Martinez. Maria Garcia, good morning, sis. I'm trying to feel better. And Carmen Nieves. Yay, Carmen's in the house.
We missed you, Carmen. We've missed you. We just actually we need to do just a Zoom call. We need like a dose of Carmen, I feel like.
Yes.
I mean, not live on Viva. I'm saying that just we're gonna hoard you, Carmen, and we need like a little Carmen dose.
Did you see on Sunday, which Carmen, please try and get back to me. Maybe, I don't know, but she was doing several videos about walk to end homelessness.
Oh.
And Carmen, you were phenomenal. She just sat up there and she's talking, and I think she pre-recorded one for the whole homelessness thing, and you just look great, Carmen. Kudos to you, mija.
I gotta watch that. I'm sorry, it's been a little bit of a.
Well, you know, Carmen is like the unofficial mayor of Bridgeport. She's in everything, but so I know this right here is very hard for her not to be like hands-on. But I guess this year they did a virtual walk to endless homelessness where each team, you know, you would donate to that team. But I think she was at the park with her shirt on when she was recording this, and it was just great. It's great. So good, Carmen. That was awesome. Thank you.
And so what do we think about the, before we get into our intention, setting the intention today in our conversation. So what does everybody think about the president?
Oh my God. COVID? I saw a meme. I don't mean to laugh. No, let me tell you something. I've been so sick, so I have been out of the loop. When I say sick, it means getting up, doing what I had to do for me or mommy, which is the very minimal.
And then going back to, yeah.
Yeah. And so then yesterday I saw a meme, and it's the same guy doing two people. He's on the phone, and then the other guy looks and goes, "Yes, Donald." And it said like his secretary or something. And he's like, "What do you think about the debate?" And he's like, "Yeah." He's like, "I spoke to several smart people, like very, very intelligent people, and they said that it wasn't so good." And he's like, "No, Donald was one of the worst." He's like, "Yeah, I don't want to do anymore." And he's like, "You have to. You can't call out. It's first debate, second debate, third debate." He was, "Yeah, I don't want to do no more. What if I get COVID?" And his secretary's like, you can't just get it. What are you talking about? Can you get it? And he's like, "Well, yeah, I got it. And so does the first lady. So we can't do a debate." And I'm like, that's what I've been hearing throughout all these days, is that he did that just to get out of the debates. I don't know. I pray to God, if they have it, it's like I do for everybody. May they get better. But yeah, that was crazy. I don't know. You get a lot.
Oh my God, there's so many conspiracy stuff popping up. I have somebody else that said that he does have it and he's sicker than he's admitting. And I will tell you that I would imagine, based on the fact that he's been so light about everything with not wearing a mask, I think that him getting it doesn't sit so well for him for his presidential his candidacy, because right, I mean, he seemed very untouchable, and it kind of set a precedence for a lot of people, and then he gets it, and I don't know,
I
I'm starting to see it pop up. See, that's the interesting thing too, though. It keeps popping up. We keep getting emails about it popping up in our school system here and there. I talked to somebody else, and they were at a party, and somebody ended up testing positive for it, and everybody's getting tested. Excuse me, I just hiccuped and burped. Online, live, that's just lovely.
you know what, Lori? But you know what's that called? Being human.
Oh, hiccup and burping? Yeah. As long as it came out the front, not the back.
Hey.
So I don't know. I mean, I think that we're going to start seeing a lot more come up, over the next few months. I mean, I knew that anyway. Everybody kind of knew that, the winter time. But look at you, like you end up getting sick, and it's not. Did they test you for that when you got sick?
Well, let me tell you. I went in prepared to take the test, right? They tell me at the front, because I was a walk-in, that they're going to administer the test. I said, I figured, no problem. So I go in, and the girl, taking my blood pressure, she says, have you taken your flu shot? I said, no. She goes, well, I can give it to you now. I was like, no. And she's like, okay. So she comes back with this form, 2020. What's that word I'm looking for? When you don't want to take something.
Oh yeah, right. Yeah, you're saying that you don't want it. Right.
Yeah. Influenza shot. I said, oh my God, I saw that paper, and I was like, are you fucking kidding me? You're gonna make me sign a paper because I don't want. Since when has this started? She's like, this is new. Yeah, and I'm like, yeah, well, I need to take a picture of it. So I took a picture of the form, and I said, why? The government wants to know who's saying no to flu shots, and so you're collecting this data for what? And I said, no. Yeah.
Did you read the document? Curious to know what it said.
No, I didn't, because I didn't. I took a picture of it, but I was like, no, take that away from me. I'm not gonna. No. So anyway, the doctor comes in, checks my chest. The nurse comes in ready to do that test. And then he's like, oh, hold on. He tells his nurse. So he comes back. He goes a little down my diaphragm here, and then in the back, and does the whole back side, the whole front side. He goes, she doesn't need this. This is an upper respiratory. I was like, thank you. He says, so many people have been given this test, this uncomfortable, a very invasive test for the common cold. He said, it's just getting too much already.
I could go, I mean, I know it's invasive. I could go either way. I mean, to me, it's just for diagnostic purposes. But it's nice that he figured that out, because I don't think that's necessarily the case everywhere.
No.
Like you said, everybody's just sort of testing for it. So I just want to comment. Michelle wrote, as someone who has lost a loved one to this virus, I'm furious at his my God, I can't see the word or I can't pronounce it. His irresponsibility. Michelle, I'm sorry. I'm like dumb this morning and I can't figure out that word that you wrote. Irresponsibility, telling people to not let it dominate your life is so disrespectful to those that died from it. Our loved ones were not able to get that type of treatment he received. Yeah, well, I will agree. That's absolutely true. Could you imagine what his treatment must be like? Where he, like, being president, it's like you're in a whole nother world with your treatment as far as what you get, the doctors, you probably get medicines that nobody has access to. You get, I mean, I was thinking about that the other day, and yes, I completely agree with you. But yeah, and I'm not a political person. I really don't. I kind of keep my views to myself a lot of times. But I was driving. Where was I driving? I was driving in this weird part of the state, and blown away at the amount of Trump signs in people's yards. not blown away like, you know, how dare they? I mean, I just, from the conversations that I heard from so many people, I didn't think that there was that much popularity on his part, but it was interesting to see it. It was like one right after another, and I'm going, wow, this is really wild. And even in my area, most people don't really put much anything up. They don't, like, they don't put either way. But this one particular area I was driving to, it was like, it was like that's where all the Trump supporters were. It was interesting, and there was like a couple of Bidens here and there, but yeah, it was really wild. Like, I mean, we're talking big, big signs, you know. And so I don't know. Have you seen political stuff where you are?
Yes, and I think you know, they play very dirty during these
Oh, they always
debates,
have.
during these elections. It's disgusting. And then the way they, you know, like with the Biden stuff, talking about, he says you can kill a baby up to 6 minutes after it's born, and the way they put that out there, and they don't bring, if you're gonna bring up garbage, then split the whole dump site. You know, so I don't even watch the debates. It's very angersome to me.
I like the way Puerto Ricans do their political stuff, because I happen to be in Puerto Rico around an election time. And man, these people party. Like, they go around, they have like pickup trucks with speakers and like a DJ in the back of the pickup truck or in the truck with signs, and they just drive through neighborhoods blasting music. And I was like, first I was like, what the hell is that? And then I'm looking and reading the signs. I'm going, oh my God, is that how they do their politics here? And then I asked a couple of locals, and they're like, yep, that's what we do. Like, when we vote and we do like political stuff, it's like a big part. And then I went at Halloween, around Halloween. Boy, Puerto Ricans know how to do Halloween too. You guys are crazy. I love it. I love it.
Yeah, well, the time I took my ex with me to Puerto Rico, it just happened to have been November 1993, and they were celebrating the 500 years of Puerto Rico. And it's some type of election thing. So after midnight, you couldn't drink. So here we are. I won it through my job, 7 days at the where the casino's at in San Juan.
Oh, okay.
Hotel.
I think that's like Isla Verde region. Anyway,
I can't remember the name of the hotel, but
yeah.
It's one of the big ones. And so we couldn't even like drink after midnight or anything. So yeah, that one was a hard one.
Oh my goodness. Yeah. Okay. So
I love it. I love it.
So let's do this. Let's reset the tone, because although it would be fun to have a political conversation, maybe towards the end of the month, I don't know. But anyway, let's set the intention and the mantra for today, and then let's talk about our topic. How big is too big? How small is too small? And we could go anywhere with that topic. So let's see. What do I'm doing the mantra for today, right? So you're doing the intention?
Yes, but before we get into that, if you can just, I wanted to mention excuse me, how October is domestic violence, the month for domestic violence.
Okay. And actually we're going to be putting together our programming. We need to catch up a little bit. So Margie and I, or Gladiator Guru and I, are going to have our meeting on Sunday, and we're going to start putting the programming together. So we're definitely going to touch on to that topic, domestic violence, as well as breast cancer awareness for the last couple of weeks of the month. And, you know, again, we want to mention this, that if you have something useful to say and you want to be on the show, we are always looking for people on Thursdays to come on as a guest. You know, most of the time that we're the ones finding the individuals to come on, but we have a certain pool of people that we work with, but we really would love to branch out. And or if you know somebody, so if you know somebody that does have a conversation or something to say about domestic violence, a survivor of domestic violence, actually I have a few people that in mind, but I'm sure you do as well. But even breast cancer awareness or anything, just have them, you know, contact us at, what is it, Viva Cafe con Leche 2 at gmail.com?
Correct.
Or they can message us on the Facebook channel and we will get back to them because we need, we really want these guests. It really adds to the flavor of the show on Thursdays to have, different people on. And although we do have our favorite people that come on, we like to expand, and have different people on because then they can become favorites too, right?
Yes,
So,
and just like you said that, and I saw Michelle Martinez just joined, and I tell you, I believe he's like this great chef in Bridgeport. Michelle, tell me if I'm wrong, because if not, I would love for him to come on and talk to us about, you know, the
food, love,
palate, the
food and
palate.
love, yes.
Yes,
Passion and
yes,
food.
yes.
That sounds
So,
good.
so yeah, I wanted to, and thank you for clarifying that, badass. But yeah, it's domestic violence month. It's also still the Hispanic Heritage Month, and it's been unfortunate. I'm usually big on posting every day about that, and in the beginning it slipped away, and then being sick this whole week. So that part has put a damper on me because the Hispanic Heritage Month is only from September 15th to October 15th, and we should be um, inundating our pages with the beauty of, that, and the foods and just, the people and the different dialects and languages. So come on, mi gente, for today, let's start today. We still have a couple days left, So yes, we will be talking about domestic violence. Is very important that for this platform we do discuss it, we put it out there. And Breast Cancer Awareness Month. I just lost my sister-in-law, because she's always going to be my sister-in-law. On Friday, she had breast cancer, mastectomy, and then a couple years later, it came back. And that one was
sorry to hear that.
The bad part. So we'll be discussing that. We will be having something on that, but I just thought it was curious, Lori, how it just says that the justice system estimates 1.3 million women and only 835,000 men are victims of physical violence by a partner every year. 1.3 million women. Now imagine if we can have a platform where we can reach like just a chain and reach 1.3 million women and have them come from that, these scarred warriors come out to become like these empowered warriors. Can you imagine how the world would be so different if the support if the support was there for them, and the encouragement where they can then pay it forward, and how many lives would be saved, and how many spirits will become unshattered. I mean, that's what we have to think about going forward with all these women, and being a part of that tribe that transcends, state lines and country borders, and just go worldwide, and we would just be so fucking empowered and shown what our true strengths are. And yes, okay, go ahead. Intention. I'm to set the intention, or yeah,
I think so. Yeah.
The intention. Close your eyes, mi gente. And it is live less out of habit and more out of intent. Live less out of habit and more out of intent. That's my intention that I want to share with you. We do things out of habit, not out. If you ate a nice big salad, you try to change the way you eat, but then dinner's served and there's arroz blanco, habichuela rosada, and fried chuletas, we feel like we're cheating ourselves, because although we ate, but it's like, but this is dinner, because it's a habit. Yeah, so breaking that, and because I'm, that's that's where I'm at right now. That's why I'm talking about it. So yeah, so it's live less out of habit and more out of intent. And that's how we shed yesterday's skin and we start navigating the healthy lifestyle that we're aiming to achieve, ¿vale?
By the way, that is that's a really powerful intention, because being habitual is subconscious and intention is consciousness. That simple statement is, so say it one more time, and I'm going to ask that if you're sitting somewhere, write it down and hang it up and look at this particular one every single day, because this one is like the mother of all intentions. So this was a good one, Gladiator Guru. So say it one more time for everybody.
Live less out of habit and more out of intent.
Fantastic. And the mantra for today: I am free, my spirit soars, no burdens weigh me down. My life is uncomplicated and free. It's a long one. I am fearless, I am courageous. I no longer hold myself back from my life. So one more time. I am free, my spirit soars, no burdens weigh me down. My life is uncomplicated and free. I am fearless, I am courageous. I no longer hold myself back from my life.
Wow. That's powerful.
Well, and so's today's conversation, really, because even though we definitely have to end, unfortunately, by 9 today. I know we sometimes go over, but it's a week filled with a lot of stuff for me, so I've got to stay on schedule. But how big is too big and how small is too small? So what do you think? Where do we want to go down that rabbit hole for that conversation? I think when we first came up with that one, right? We were laughing because we were laughing at the hidden meaning behind that one, right? How big is too big and how small is too small?
Yeah,
for certain things, small is too small.
You took me to something I saw yesterday when they were talking about how big and how small, and however your size is the level how your voice should rise or what. And if it's too small, don't even speak to me. Leave me a note. But I just want to say, Edie, good morning. She said, hello, beautiful ladies and gents. Chanel, real deal. My cousin's on. Chanel. Hey, Chanel. Lillian, good morning.
Lillian.
Says, hola, reinas. We were talking about domestic violence. She says the cause dear to her heart. Petey said that's a hard one. And then Lillian said, it's never too big.
That a girl, Lillian. All right. So what are we talking about? It's this is what we came up with. What an interesting pair of questions. What on earth? Where can we go with this? So if you're doing something on a smaller scale, is that less important than something larger? Is larger necessarily better? Risks. So things that could be, so we were coming up with a list of things that could fall into this category. So it could be risks that you take, are baby steps versus big leaps. Playing in your life. Do you play big? Do you play small? Letting ourselves shine and letting others shine. You know what else I came up with too last night? Excuses. How big or small are our excuses? How big or small are our dreams? How do we live, big or small? Letting go and forgiving. Do we do it big? Do we do it small? And so there's so many, like playing big or small could be positive or negative, right? Gladiator Guru, what do you think?
I think it depends on each individual circumstances, but it's also like the intention. When you live out of habit, then that prevents you from seeing. Like there's people who think that bigger is better in everything. The bigger the purse, the more they could fit into it, the bigger the car.
Yep.
Yeah, the house, it gives them more prestige. It makes people think that they got it going on. If it's too small, it's not worth it. The risk may not be worth it if it's just something small. So I think that, is it, how big is too big and how small is too small is according to the person who is walking and living in their truth, right? So if you're going to put on this facade that you got it going on and everything's big, then you're broke, right? And you're having TV dinners.
You're big and broke.
Yeah. So I think that how big it is forgiving. I think when you forgive, that was a good one you brought up. The forgiveness is the size of your heart, right? So how big is your heart? Like, are you just an asshole and you're just trying, like, people like just forgive, or are you really not keeping score of everyone around you and doing what comes from your heart? So I think, yeah. And even
let's go ahead.
Even small, you know, what if somebody has a lot of sexual aura, you know, and they have that gift of God that just a conversation is turning you on, and yeah, they might be like, but they might have other things that work. So again, it's up to the individual.
Well, let's take each piece then. Let's start with and I want to shout out to Veronica Feliciano Cruz. Good morning. Glad you're here. So why don't we take each piece then? Let's start off with excuses. Let's start off with that one. So how big is too big? How small is too small when it comes to excuses? Let's start with that one, and then we'll go like down the list of some of the things that we put on there. So I think I hate excuses. I think excuses are bullshit. I think that we use too many of them in this world. I think that excuses are that's part of playing big or playing small, basically. So but I'm not saying that all excuses are BS. Some of them are really legit and really and really necessary, but I think we overuse them. So how big is an excuse? How small is an excuse? If the excuse is preventing you from moving forward in your life, then it doesn't matter the size, right? Size doesn't matter there, because even a small excuse will prevent you. And if you get enough of them, you will be stagnant in your life, right? Does that sound about right?
Yeah, absolutely. You know, excuses are like that thing we talked about a couple shows ago when one of the main things was don't lie to yourself. And I think we put up excuses out of habit. And it starts back in kindergarten. Where's your homework? The dog ate it. You know? So I think that's what the habit is. And until we shift that thought, and that like everything is the shifting. But yeah, that's exactly. My cousin says excuses slow you down from living your life and seeing and doing all the wonderful things the universe has to offer. Absolutely. That absolutely should know. That's why I said that's one of the things we talked about when we incorporated that with lying to yourself, because it does hinder us. It hinders our spiritual growth. Go ahead. What's your next one? Thanks, Janelle.
Dreams. How big is too big? How small is too small when we're talking about your dreams?
I think they can be as vast as the universe and as small as a mustard seed.
And they're all important.
All important. And again, it's according, if you like what you do, your transformational stuff that you need to talk more about. You need to talk more about that, because this is the time for that. Like on this show, if you do,
what? Yeah. Did you not think of what you're gonna say?
Yes, I did, and then it went because I was trying to prevent a cough from happening. But your dreams should be, no matter what size to yourself, if you're doing it for you and not to impress, right? How big is too big and how small is too small? It's according, I think it should always be a medium, because if you're doing it for you and your lifestyle and not trying to boast,
the middle road.
Yeah, right? If you do that transformation, it is for you. It don't matter what size it is. I think we should always dream beyond what we're capable of even thinking to see, right? I think the dream should always be here. I think it should be a big fucking umbrella, and then then you use what you need as you're navigating through and completing that, right? So I think that should be a big thing, and then you use what you need. I
think we put so much importance on dreaming big that when somebody has a smaller dream, we sort of
We judge.
We either other people judge, or we ourselves say, oh, it's not that important. It's just a small little thing. Like, even we're trained, like Disney has the little mantra, dream big, princess, which I do love that little mantra. I think it's cute as hell. But every dream is worth it. So even if it's a small dream, because small dreams lead to bigger things, and you get enough of them together and they can create one big dream. If you have little dreams that, you know, for this piece and this piece and this piece of your life, and then all of a sudden when you look at the bigger picture, you have everything that you wanted in your life, that is the big dream overall. So it's never size does not matter for dreams, just as long as you have them, right?
That's what I said in the beginning. I have so many things going on. When you said to describe myself, you know, it's like, yes, it's like, you know, there's so much that I have of little things that people are like, oh, you do too much. Or you have, no, I don't. Because everything has its space. It's allotted space. And then when I need it, you know, just like, you know, you have all your makeup. You're not going to put on your makeup all on the same fucking day, right? You have it. You have your day makeup, your night makeup, you know. We should try that one day.
Whatever you want to do.
With the real bright blue eyeshadow, right? half magenta pink on this side, half the black one that's out now.
Oh, that's nice.
You know, like my thing is growing up with the pearls, Madonna, the Aquanet hairspray and all that. And then today it's like totally different. Like, these people don't know what the hell they got going on. We survive Aquanet, like the whole bottle in one sitting. But anyway,
where did you just go with that? You're like, what?
Because that is awesome. What were you talking about?
Playing big hair versus small hair. Okay.
Yeah. So, and I think, yeah, no dream is too small. You're absolutely right. There's no size for that. And you just threw me off. Like, you just interrupted my vibe right there.
I'm so sorry.
But I think, yeah, I think for anything, dreams are big. Your goals, who am I to say your goals are small?
Right.
You know, so absolutely with that.
But we do, though. That's the thing. You're right. Who are you to say that? But yet people do, especially like even sometimes in personal development, they, you know, coaches will sometimes want to push you to say, oh, girl, dream, you know, set bigger goals, set this or that. And we're afraid, you know, like, and I get that, because sometimes, like, if like, for instance, for me, I have to set goals for people going on my Chirothin program, you know, and so I have a certain amount that I want to have in each, you know, program that I do every 2 weeks. So I want to have a certain amount of people signed up for it. So my goal is to fill it, but, you know, I might set a goal that's a little less, and then I fall a little bit with that one. I push and pull myself, because I say, am I shooting for too low of a goal? Am I shooting too high for a goal? Am I being unrealistic? Am I undercutting myself? You know, so there's I think that we have to sort of get past that we always want to one up ourselves. So you want to dream big, but you also want to have some, like, smaller dreams in place. So that one, I guess size doesn't necessarily matter unless you're always setting yourself smaller. Like, if you're always doing it, playing it small. Okay, so there's the next one. Playing big or playing small in your life. What do you think?
I think you don't take enough risk when you set the bar so low that, you know, you're not putting a lot into it. Good morning, SK General. Good morning, Cuzzo. I think that some of us fail to see the value that we have within us, so we play too small. Because if we fail, if we succeed, yay, but it's not a celebration.
Right.
Yeah. That's where it can be too small, where we don't have enough self-belief.
Mm-hmm. I agree with you. Listen, we get one life, and we are the only ones that can live our own life. So you have to really look at your life and say, am I playing small or am I playing big? And then you have to define what that is for you. What is playing small? I guess, so playing small in your life would be just running it habitually, just like Guru said in the beginning. It's just, you're running on autopilot. You go to work, you get up, you go to work, You go, you do your thing at work, you come home, you make dinner, and then you do the same thing over again on the weekends. You go food shopping, you do this, you do that, all very habitual. You watch TV, you watch the same programs, you hang out, you do the same thing. And what exciting and thing, what new and exciting things have you added to your day and your week? And you can't use COVID as an excuse, because we could still do new and exciting things even from your own home. That's different than your normal routine. So, right? So playing small would include that habitual scenario.
I think every morning that you get up and you step in the shower, you're taking a risk. So why not make that risk worthwhile and set the bar above you every day to accomplish something? Wouldn't you say?
Yes.
How many people have not slipped and died in the shower? So every morning that you get up and you do that, you're taking a risk. So take a risk that's worthwhile for your life. I think there's no too big or too small when it comes to your existence.
Yes, right. It's not saying that sometimes you can't, sometimes we do have to play small. So this is another question that we were talking about. Why would you play small? Well, sometimes stepping back, playing a little small in your life, which we could actually say is still playing big, letting others shine. We have to, when we let ourselves shine, that's playing big. When we give ourselves that permission to do that and not have the fear to do it. But sometimes it's nice to step back and let other people shine. And so that you have to play a little bit small to let other people give them their space to play big, right?
It's called grace. It really is. And I'm, I wrote something and I wasn't going to read it. And then you just brought it up.
Go ahead.
And I think that absolutely, I think that how big is too big and how small is too small? How big is too big to do exactly that? To allow someone. Rupi Kaur says, learning not to envy someone else's blessing is what grace looks like. And envy comes dressed like doubt or insecurity when you don't do exactly what you just said.
Yes.
When every minute, every hour, every task that we complete is not our time to be in the spotlight. We probably came here to do this to assist someone whose time it is. And I think it's great insight and it's kindness that we spoke about on Thursday in your heart to say, go ahead, baby girl. I'm right here if you need me to fix your hair. Go to the spotlight.
That's right.
And people just can't do that. They feel they have to be a part of it, or they rob someone else's vision as their own. And you know what? The light ain't never going to shine on you like that. It'll always just be a little to the left. And you're going to wonder, where the hell's my light? It's not your light. But go ahead. Thank you for that. Thank you for
sharing that quote. That was beautiful. So what else do we have? Letting go. How big is too big? How small is too small?
Oh my God. Letting go for you is so big. But we don't do it because we feel that the other person is not doing enough. Or that something was unanswered or something. Letting go. Just let it go. I mean,
I don't think it's too big. I don't think letting go is too big. But I think it could be too small. It could be too small, though.
No, I don't say it's too big. I'm just saying it's big.
Yeah, no, I know.
Yeah.
I don't think, but I think letting go could be too small, though. I think, like, if you, because if it's too small when you're letting go of something, you will not have the transformation that you need, and it won't come as rapidly. Sometimes I guess it needs to be small increments, but at some point, like, letting go is literally just, it's always a big thing, right? Wouldn't you say, like, actually, when you completely let go of something, no matter what, it's always big. So it's never too big, but it can definitely be too small, I think. How about forgiveness? Too big, too small.
Oh my God. Exactly. I think it's just like letting go, and because you don't forgive for nobody but yourself, and it's still hard, even though you forgive. I think as long as you breathe, you're going to always remember. You don't forget. And so then sometimes you like eat your own words and you forgive, but then you get angry with the person for what you forgave them for. And I speak about this in taking care of my mom because, you know, I forgave my mom at 32 years old. And she never even knew I forgave her. I forgave her in my heart. And that's where I wrote the poem, I Forgive You, which was published in my first book, which is now in my second book. It's in the first chapter of, you know, my parents, mixed match Pierce's I Forgive You. And then now I'm like her full-time caregiver. So I have to pray big for God to help me to see that this is just, you know, to see her, and from what I've known her to be all my life, and all I pray for is just a forgiveness for my thoughts. Because some days I wait, oh, this is her being manipulative. And some days it's like, oh, the dementia's getting worse. So I had to stop that, and I just had to pray and put it and meditate on it every day because it's too big for me to handle sometimes.
Yes.
So I pray to just let me see her as being with dementia, and that has been working. Where you know, when I know it's her being manipulative and ungrateful, that I just gotta say, I gotta be the bigger person in this. So I have to play it very big and beyond me in order to get through the moments. But last night I kind of lost it. Yesterday afternoon, when I would, you know, bathe her and then dry her and put her cream on, and she's standing up at this time because I need her blood to be, and I'm about to put her diaper, and she just decides to piss like a never ending piss all on my floor, and all I just bathed her, and I wanted, and you know, I'm still not feeling well, and I wanted to, I think I cried, I think I did, and I was about to lose it. I'm Puerto Rican and Italian, and although that I've learned how to control that rage, it just comes up sometimes. And I had to, as I'm bending down, putting all the clean towels on this river of urine, and I had to say, Father God, please help me, take over, take over, take over, take over. And I said, why didn't you tell me you had to go to the bathroom? She was like, it was already too late.
That was a pretty lucid comment.
So with that and forgiveness, I think it's a tricky little fucker. I think that is something that we have to start our day. When we start our day in gratitude to God for this new day, and meditate on the intentions and setting our mantras for the day to start, we also have to remind God and the universe and our spirit, talk to them, how help me to maintain a spirit of forgiveness.
So speaking of gratitude, too big or too small? I think it's either or. It's, even a small amount of gratitude is phenomenal. So you can have big amounts, you can have small amounts, but I think gratitude is necessary no matter what.
Lori, let me read something to you. It's Chanel says, I think there's a time and a place to play big or small.
Yes.
Big risks, small risks.
Yes.
We tend to play it small when you're in full mom mode, because it is hard to take a big risk in fear of failing and having your children see you fall.
Or endangering them even. You know, you don't want to take too big of a risk with children sometimes because you don't want to implode your family dynamic. Like if it was a big financial risk, for instance, although people still do, but yeah, that's a big fear. And some would disagree with me on that. Some would say, a risk is a risk, it doesn't matter if you have children or not, and whatever. Were you done reading, or is she still?
No, she says, is that right? No, but fear kicks in.
Yeah. And
we should feel okay to let our children see us fail, because that is the reality of life.
Yes. Absolutely. Yeah. Absolutely. That one's a big one. So we did gratitude. How about guilt? Too big or too small? Oh, she's still okay.
No. Guilt, I don't know. What is guilt? Is there healthy guilt to feel guilty? Is there ever a time that it's healthy? That's a question, badass Buddha.
Yes, I'm thinking.
Oh, okay. No, you know why? Because I think guilt is like that flesh eating parasite.
Yes.
I think if you did something wrong, if you know you should not have done that, like point blank period, and you feel that guilt, that should jumpstart you to seek forgiveness, to make it right, to correct it,
Yes.
and
Be
learn from
accountable.
it. But I think there's so many people that live in that space that then it turns out to make them weak and pathetic and a victim, or it makes them to never set goals or to go out there and try to rectify anything. So you tell me that.
I think guilt is too big or too small. If it's a daily thing, it can be too big. Like you said, if it's stopping you from moving forward, then yes. I guess yeah, you're right. Everything that you just said, it just depends on the situation, whether it's too big or too small. If you're feeling guilty about something, a bad choice that you made, that especially if it affected others, then if your guilt is small, then that's not necessarily a great thing either, because then you might not correct the situation.
Henny, my son-in-law just wrote, guilt shows empathy. And he says, good morning, beautiful ladies. I think that, but it has to be, you know what? If you did something wrong and you feel guilty, because Iris said guilt, the definition has my picture next to it. Iris feels guilty over everything, which then is, she's like 4'11". She's almost a midget. And what happens? And then she walks around with this, always wants to cry, and her heart is just too big as well.
Oh, I don't agree with, was it Henny that said it? I don't think that guilt and empathy work together. You could be very empathetic, and if you're a strong individual, there's no room for guilt. You'll realize that guilt could be very limiting. So, because I view myself, and believe me, I know, I grew up in an Italian household, Italian American household, where guilt was like the number one thing served every day.
That's like being Catholic. We're guilty for breathing.
Yes. So, but I learned that guilt it's such a bullshit thing. I mean, it really is. It's a waste of time, I think, and it stops people. It stops yourself. If you guilt yourself, people try to push it on other people, guilt them to stop them. That's not empathy. That's manipulation. Empathy for me is understanding where an individual is coming from, and to me, that one, I love playing big on that one. But the guilt is, if I was empathetic with somebody, I would never ever make them feel guilty about what they're doing, nor would I want to feel guilty about what I did, because if I'm making the right choices, then there's no room for guilt, right? I mean, technically speaking.
I think if you do something wrong, that's gonna have like a domino effect on other people. What would you say? I mean, you did something purposely wrong, so I think there's a certain amount of guilt you should carry. But I think you have to make the decision: are you going to fix it?
Well, guilt shouldn't be there that long. So technically it should be small. Like at that moment it might be big, but it needs to go down pretty small. Because look, if you did something and you become accountable to it and you own it and you apologize and you fix it, there's no reason to keep feeling guilty about it. You have to move on because it keeps you exactly where you are. And if other people are not willing to move on and try to make you feel bad for it, that's on them. And you need to, because it keeps you in the past. Guilt. That's the problem I have with guilt. It keeps you backwards, and I think that really stifles a person's an individual's growth. So did we catch everything? How big is too big? How small? How about happiness?
Happiness, no one can take from you and no one can give you. So it's as big as you want it to be, and it's as small as you want it to be.
I agree. I absolutely agree.
Nobody can do that. And that's, you know what, the expectation that you complete me shit. And that, you've made me unhappy, or you make me so happy. We set ourselves up for failure. that's where it's so big. It's too big. Our expectations of how others should make us happy is way too big. You know, that's an inside job. And until you get that right, you're gonna always be miserable.
Yep. I agree. I definitely both for that one. Never too big, never too small. Any dose of happiness is absolutely fabulous.
It is. And you know, like could we just go real quick to guilt, because I know you have to go, but guilt, I think that when people have, like, they're so giving and forgiving, that I think that to them, if you know, if you feel guilty, then it's repentance for what you've done. And I just think that those loving people, they just have an expectation that other people are good. They just made a mistake, so they feel guilty about it. And you know, that's we still need that kind of kindness in the world. We still, because you know what, we all fall short. We do.
Well, guilt's a funny one anyway, because you can, like my mother's one of those individuals. She's a good person, but there's a lot of guilt with her, and her whole life is driven in the background by that. And so she always feels that she should give and do this and do that. And as a result, she's always been an enabler. And it's just enough already. It's like, you know, don't feel, if somebody is in need of help and you refuse to help them, there's no reason you should feel guilty about that, unless there's certain circumstances. But help, like that's the piece that I have a problem with. Like, that's a lot of guilt. That's a big one, is when you feel the need to give out of guilt. And it's not that you did anything wrong. It's just you feel that that's your purpose and that you have to help people. But if you don't have a boundary, oh, we could keep going on and on with this conversation. I keep thinking of things as we go. It's like, how big is too small? How big is too small with boundaries? You know, we could have went there, and we don't have the time.
My Italian mom doesn't have guilt because she lives in denial. Like, she never did anything wrong. And how dare I? This is what I was born for, to take care of her after everything.
That, but listen, that's denial along with entitlement. So there's a difference. See, my mother's a denial person too, but she's a denial guilt person. She lives in denial of things she doesn't want to know about, but she's a guilt person, that she's always feeling like she needs to give until there's nothing left of her. Which, either end of that spectrum, your mother or my mother, those are too big. Those choices are too big.
They are. Oh my God. I want to say thank you to everybody.
Thank you.
Yes, because like Iris said, when you were talking about something, she said, I feel like I'm trying to get back to what I was used to doing. And everyone says, you're doing too much. Too much. I don't feel like that. Iris, since you brought it up, Iris was like in a 2-year, like, deep depression. Didn't leave the house, didn't do anything. Iris was this fantabulous hairdresser. And she is coming back, and she's coming back her way. And people can't understand that. Like, how could you have been so dormant yesterday and today you're like cleaning a whole garage while you're singing? Because that's her spirit.
Good.
And
fabulous.
She's doing it, yeah. So
big,
don't change.
Big.
All right. So thank you to everybody who came on, who shared. I love you all. We love you all, and we'll keep you posted. And if you want to be a guest, inbox us. Send us something. I already got an inbox for the domestic violence one. So yeah. So mi gente, go ahead, badass Buddha.
So thanks for coming on, everybody. And remember, be you, be real, and be extraordinary.
Yes, mi gente. Remember, breathe in the beauty, breathe out the bullshit. Namaste.
Bye, everybody. We'll see you Thursday.